Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Erika Ortiz and today we're going to talk about this book that I recently read that is called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This book has easily become one of my favorite books ever. And I would really like to share all the wisdom and knowledge that I've been able to find in this book. This can also be kind of like a review for you. The author of this book is Robin Sharma, and we're going to dive deep into the book, key expressions and phrases that I truly find amazing and that change my perspective and point of view. And then this is basically gonna be a series. So this is the first video, and then I'm gonna upload another video that basically talks a little bit more about language learning with the book. So if you're interested in personal growth, I would say also like mindfulness and just thinking about you as a whole, this is a great book, a great recommendation, and I would really invite you to join me. Get yourself a cup of coffee, get yourself some tea, some water, so you can join this experience with me today. So, as I mentioned, the book is called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and it is by Robin Sharma. The purpose of these videos will be to cover mindfulness and life lessons from the book along with standout quotes. Additionally, in the next video, we're going to talk about useful vocabulary and expressions we can use from the book. Of course, this is super specific. I created this myself, so I really hope you enjoy these series. Basically, to tell you a little bit about the book and what it is truly about, like a little just general description, this book tells the story about Julian Mantle. He is a high-powered lawyer who experiences a spiritual awakening after a health crisis. He sells his luxurious possessions and embarks on a journey to the Himalayan mountains where he learns profound lessons from the sages of Sivan. These teachings transform Julian's life, guiding him to discover the importance of balance, simplicity, and mindfulness. Through the book, Sharma impacts wisdom on achieving true happiness and fulfillment by living with purpose and embracing the present moment. And I think those are the two lessons I would like to focus on as we go. I think the two lessons I think about the most, and that even towards the end of this video, or probably video number 2, I'm gonna give you a bonus or more like a fun fact about me and the book, and something that literally changed my life forever. But you are gonna have to comment it if I say it in this video or in the next one. But I would like to focus on two main lessons from this book. The first one is embracing the present moment, and the second one is cultivating inner peace. And I think these are the two biggest lessons I would highlight. If you would like me to summarize the book, what is the book about? I would literally say embracing the present moment and cultivating inner peace. So let's jump right into chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think these phrases and expressions are literally what I was able to underline while I was reading. So hopefully you'll find this useful. Some of the things that he says is, John, on your deathbed, you will never wish you had spent more time at the office. And I guess this quote gets you thinking, how much time do we actually spend on things that matter? It says, I needed to be healed from within. As I said, because he was going through this spiritual awakening, he realized that everything needed to start from within. You seem to be full of your own ideas, and how can more go in until you first empty your cup? So this happens a lot. For us to welcome new things in our lives, we need to let go of things that are no longer important or no longer necessary or even no longer good for us. Investing in yourself is the best investment you will ever make. It will not only improve your life, it will improve the lives of all those around you. Guys, here, this is literally pure gold. Um, then it talks a little bit about the Sivanan system, and it says that it's composed of 7 basic virtues, which are 7 fundamental principles, which embodied are the keys to self leadership, personal responsibility, and spiritual enlightenment. So, the book basically then, through the chapters, covers these 7 virtues. They have a like a physical like representation of it. It has values and virtues within. It has like key points for each one of those. But in this video, we're not gonna go through each one. We're just gonna continue like mentioning some phrases and ideas that the book covers. Now, starting on chapter 7, I think 7 was probably one of my favorite chapters. I cannot say it was my favorite one, but I think it was one of my favorite ones because it starts talking about your mind, and it literally compares it to a garden. So it says the garden is a symbol for the mind. Worry drains the mind of its power, and sooner or later it injures the soul. I think the information in this chapter was super eye-opening in general. It says the mind management is the essence of life management. And I think sometimes we have trouble trying to organize our ideas, trying to organize our life. We feel like we're juggling constantly with life. And I think that once you understand that the mind management is basically the essence of life management, a lot of things start to make more sense. Your I can is more important than your IQ, which of course it's just playing with words here, but basically your IQ is how intelligent basically you are versus your I can in how well you speak to yourself. So I thought this one was amazing. I would literally like to have like a poster in my room or something with that phrase alone. No matter what happens to you in your life, you alone have the capacity to choose your response to it. Of course, this is 100% true, and I think after reading that, I understand that things don't happen to me. Things just happen, and I decide how I take them and how I let them affect me and my life. Then they were talking a little bit about the Chinese character for the word crisis and how it is comprised of 2 sub-characters, which one spells danger and the other one spells opportunity. So it says, I guess that even the ancient Chinese knew that there is a bright side to the darkest circumstance, which again, I think that you can write your testimony from the biggest test you have, whether that is financial, emotional, or whatever area it is. If you decide to focus your attention to how it makes you grow, it literally can change your mindset. From struggle comes strength. Again, this is probably very related. And then things are always created twice. First in the workshop of the mind, and then, only then, in reality. This was like, I don't know, this struck because I feel like everything we have today literally is a representation of something that we once dreamt of. And like a lot of the things I'm living today literally were born first in my mind, and like now thinking about it, it totally makes sense, and it has to do a lot with the law of attraction as well. But it also makes me think how important is what you are thinking, because then that will embody physically, like literally. So I just think this is amazing to be thinking about that. If you can believe it, you can achieve it, because it first has to be created in your mind. It has to be possible in your mind, and then it'll become possible. It'll be your reality. So I think this other quote was amazing, and I literally underlined it like 7 times. Again, in chapter 7 still, it says that the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. It says that persistence is the mother of personal change. It says that if you say you don't have time to improve your thoughts in your life, it's like saying you don't have time to stop for gas because you are too busy driving. How true is this? Like sometimes we just don't spend time in the necessary stuff because we are too busy doing the unnecessary stuff in life. And I think that also caught my attention a lot, that sometimes we need to stop and do what you need and what your body needs and what your mind and soul need. Pause for a second and then continue and move on. Because if you never stop to literally like calibrate all of the things that are going on, you will then need to stop mandatory. And it's going to be either a health issue, it's going to be a hard, strong life lesson. And you need to learn to listen to yourself, to listen to your mind, listen to your body, and and stop however times it is necessary for you to be able to continue living your life to the fullest, basically. Then there was another one that said, either you control your mind or it controls you. I think this was super amazing and true. Your thoughts are like slides. I think ever since I read this book, that is one thing I have been thinking about literally every day. And I see my mind and my thoughts on a day-to-day basis as if they were a PowerPoint presentation. You know how, like this one, you know how when you have a presentation, you can turn the slides and that's how it continues. And some slides, as the book was talking about, are not so positive. Some slides are inevitable, and some slides you will need to move quickly and switch and go to the next one. So it says, your thoughts are like slides. Whenever a negative slide comes up on the screen, take swift action to replace it with a positive one. So I just think that it's okay to have negative thoughts at times. It's okay to be sad, to be frustrated, to feel anxious. The problem is when you dwell on that slide for a long time. So I just think that it is very powerful to start thinking of your thoughts as slides, because it then gives you the power that, hey, you know what? You have the mouse. You can just go to the next one and try to replace the negative one with a positive one. Then it says, weak minds lead to weak actions. Your interest and mental focus give you energy. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. And I would say, let's read this one again. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. You judge for yourself. I'm going to let you think about this one. I think personally it is 100% true. And this is why you cannot afford to have negative, dirty thoughts every day, all day, because then that is going to determine the quality of your life. So I think this one was also super powerful and amazing. The mind is like a fertile garden, and for it to flourish, you must nurture it daily. I love this one because just the idea of my mind being a garden, it really puts things and thoughts into perspective. Like, I really want big, strong trees to be there. I want it to be full of flowers that are alive and colorful and nice. Whereas depending on what I have in my mind, it can also be a desert place that doesn't smell good, that is dirty, that it's dead, basically. So literally focusing on this and having this mindset has helped me a lot to improve, or at least be a little bit more conscious about what I think about most days, basically. To continue a little bit more, we get to chapter 8. Chapter 8 focuses a little bit more on purpose, and it says, the purpose of life is a life of purpose. It then elaborates a little bit more on what happiness is, and it basically says that happiness is the achievement of your goals. It says that for you to write your desires and goals on paper, like literally grab a piece of paper and write your goals. It says that by writing them out on a piece of paper, you send a red flag to your subconscious mind that these thoughts are far more important than the remaining 69,999 thoughts you have a day. It also says that being with nature also allows you to tune in to the infinitive wisdom of your highest self. It says that Vigorous walking in natural surroundings, whether high on the mountain paths or deep in the lush forests, worked wonders for relieving fatigue and restoring the body to its natural state of vibrancy. So I guess it also recommends you to be and go out into nature because that helps you a lot. Mentally and of course physically as well. Chapter 9 is all about self-leadership or self-management. I've also heard that term a couple of times. It starts describing the Kaizen philosophy of life. Kaizen, it's a Japanese word, and this word basically means never-ending improvement or constant self-expansion and progress. I once heard Tony Robbins also say, happiness equals, or growth equals happiness, or happiness equals growth. Because when you are expanding, when you are growing, you literally feel fulfilled. You feel happy. It also says that success on the outside begins with success on the inside. And I think, again, this is super powerful because we may think that what we can see is just that. And remember the image of the iceberg? All we see is literally the tip of the iceberg. We don't see everything that's underneath the water. And that is how strong your roots should be. And that is the biggest part of the iceberg. So if we think about this, everything first starts on the inside and then it will be reflected on the outside. Then it talks about fear a little bit. Fear is nothing more than a mental monster you've created. So understand the anatomy of fear because it is your own creation. This was hard to read, honestly. Lately, and I'm just being vulnerable here, but lately I felt that I have more fear towards a couple things. And just thinking about this and knowing that it is a mental wall that I have and that I built and I created literally gives me the power to overcome it. But of course, it is a process still. But just reading this really opened my eyes to the reality of what fear is in our life. But it can also affect us a lot if we let it control us as well. Make sure your daily schedule includes a period of peace, and that is misspelled. But yes, peace. Like, make sure you have moments to relax, to feel at ease, to feel calm on a daily basis. I talked about the power of nature, like I mentioned before, and it also says that knowledge is only a potential power. Sometimes we say knowledge is power, and it probably is, but this book says that for the power to be actually manifested and for it to be there, it must be applied. And I think this is actually very wise because I may know a lot of stuff. I may know how to cook. I may know how to drive. I may know how to speak another language. But if I'm not actually doing it, if I am not applying the knowledge, do I really know how to do it? Do I really have that within me? So I think this is a very wake up call as far as it's okay for you to have a lot of knowledge. Of course, knowledge is the first step, but for it to actually be manifested in your life, you need to apply it. Then it continues talking about how to truly get the best out of a great book, you must study it and not just read it. I think this is also something I really enjoyed because that's literally what I did with this book. It was not just like I read it and that's it and I liked it and I rated it 4 stars. It's literally I took the time to study this book and see, you know what, this one really works for me, or I don't know if I agree with this expression as much, or this story sounds kind of off. So I think studying a book is literally amazing, especially if it's a book you can learn something from. So yeah, I like that part a lot. The only way to improve tomorrow is to know what you did wrong today. Mistakes are essential for growth. However, it also emphasized a lot the fact that you should not be making you should not be making the same mistakes over and over again, because also you need to be smart about it. And if you see that this mistake you've made a couple of times, then stop, Analyze the situation, write down what your mistake was, and think about a plan to potentially not make the same mistake 100 times, ideally. It says that from your mind, what you put in is what you will get out of it, which is also very strong, especially, on our day-to-day life. I think sometimes we are rude or are always on a hurry and anxious, and we say bad words and we are negative to ourselves and to others. So this is like an alarm going there that what you put in your mind is literally what comes out. Then it talks a little bit about what a mantra is, and I really enjoyed this part. I never thought of a mantra like the way they defined it, and I loved it. It says, a mantra is a collection of words strung together to create a positive effect. It is literally a phrase designed to free the mind. So I really, really like that one. And it says that you are what you think about all day long. And this is basically because your thoughts become feelings, your feelings become actions. So really watch out to what you're thinking, what your thoughts, and remember the slide analogy. Like whenever you feel like you are being too negative and you're focusing a lot on the crisis mode, you're focusing on the chaos, on the anxious part of whatever is going on, feel free. You have the mouse, you have the power to go to the next slide. So yeah, I really like that one. And then the last one, it says, you are at your best when you are moving forward. We feel fulfilled in life when we are growing, when we are moving. So this is something that you must remember. And we can like take the moving also literal, and like exercising and like moving your body is always going to be good and beneficial for you. To kind of close a little bit, because I know it's been a lot of information, these what was it, like 9 chapters have a lot of wisdom, and this is why I suggested you take notes, or even just buy the book and read it yourself to see like how many of these phrases actually click with you. But I wanted to give you some advice to start off your day well and help your mind, because the book does talk a lot about how you literally have to help your mind so that it becomes a practice for you to have positive thoughts. But then I wanted to give you advice because the way you start your day literally sets you up for success or not. So I just wanted to give you a couple ideas for you to be able to start your day off well. The first one would be to journal. I personally love journaling. I don't do it daily. However, I wish I did. And one of the things you could journal about in the mornings is to make a gratitude list and thank for all the things you have. Well, material things or not material things, but like literally just be thankful. Or stop for a moment and then look around you and just write about everything that you see and focus on the details. That allows you to also be present in that moment. Grounding is something I also advise you to start doing. Thankfully, I have a very small backyard, but it has grass and it has a couple of trees and everything. So something I can advise you to start doing is grounding. Watch the sun, breathe, stand on the grass barefoot, and be mindful of what you are and be positive for what's to come. I cannot stress this enough. It is super important that you actually take the time to do that. And not only will that be beneficial for you to start your day well, but it will also be beneficial for your body and your nervous system, because walking barefoot in grass has been proven to help you with stress management as well. Music, listen to calm music to help you breathing, or listen to music to help you boost your energy and mood. Of course, you want to start your day with something that makes you feel good and that sets you up for success rather than put you in a unwanted mood, obviously. And last but not least, think. Do yoga, walk, and literally challenge your mind to focus on positive thoughts. If you go to the gym, also challenge your mind to, while you're at the gym training or running, or if you go out for a walk, or if you are doing Pilates, like to literally focus on positive and conscious thoughts and start practicing this challenge of, okay, this is not something I would like to focus on. Next slide. Because that allows you to select the thoughts you want to have rather than try to live as you are overflowing with thoughts that you don't even want to have and focus on. So those are a couple of advices I can give you. Make sure you put these into practice, and if you do, just let me know, comment on the video your favorite one, and tell me if you are already applying one of these, because remember, knowledge can be powerful if you actually apply it. If you really like this video, or if you're interested to hear a little bit more on how the book ends, I really encourage you to subscribe for part 2. I will be talking a little bit more about chapters 10 through 13, which is the end of the book. I'm going to give you that bonus fun fact about me. And then I am also going to include a couple language lessons for you to be also able to implement some vocabulary words and some expressions in your day-to-day. These expressions and vocabulary will be more intermediate to advanced. I'm going to give you definitions, I'm going to give you examples, and I'm going to be quoting the book as I did in this video. Thank you so much for being here and for joining, and don't forget to subscribe for part 2. Bye!